This is the Hypothetically Sound podcast,
hosted by Alec, Randy, and Xavier,
where we take a hypothetical look at the world around us,
exploring the what-ifs, maybes, and how comes.
Join in on the unfiltered, raw, and real conversations
as we explore the world around us.
Welcome back to Hypothetically Sound. We hope you are having a great day. As always, I am one of your hosts, Randy, joined by the other host, Alec.
Yeah.
And we are continuing our journey on Apple Music's top 100 albums of all time. And today, we are on album number 66, The Queen is Dead by the Smiths. Alec, as always, did you know the Smiths before we started this journey?
I heard of them.
Yeah, I've heard of Morrissey, so I knew like their lead singer. But that's about as much. This is about as much as I knew of them. If you're sitting at home and you're like, who is the Smiths? Who is Morrissey? What is The Queen is Dead? Well, don't worry. I'm going to give you some information.
Be careful with how you talk about the Queen being dead.
True. That's just the title of the album, which was a little bit of a controversy on this album, obviously. Because the Smiths are an English rock band, more specifically an indie rock band. They are credited with being one of the first indie pop, indie rock groups of the UK that pushed the indie rock era for the UK. This was their third studio album. It came out in June of 1986. This entire album was produced by Morrissey, the band's lead singer, and most of the lyrics, but most of the album was created by the lead guitarist, Johnny Marr. It did well in the UK. It sat 22 weeks atop the charts at number 2. It reached number 70 in America, and it is certified gold. It is head and shoulders all unanimously viewed as one of the top albums of all time. It's on everybody's list. It is seen as one of the greatest UK albums of all time. It is just, to a lot of people, a very good album.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that I missed that you want to add?
No, that sounds good. It is pretty short, though. It's like, 10 songs, 37 minutes, so it's even shorter than the last couple.
Yeah, it's a short album, but very good album. Also, like Alex said, 10 songs, and we're just going to dive into it, starting with the namesake track of the album, which is track number 1, The Queen is Dead.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good song.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Mm-hmm.
It is just a straight up 5-verse song, right?
Yeah.
There's no chorus to it. It's about 6 minutes long. The longest on the album, I believe.
Yeah, longest on the album by about a minute. Yeah,
it has a drum solo right away, and when it comes in, it has a very 80s sound to it.
Mm-hmm.
The initial sound and the writing is decent. It's just a little long for me.
That's fair. I was into it. I really enjoy the sound of the Smiths in general. I like the sound of this. I thought Morrissey is a great lead singer, so I enjoy his vocals. I do think the minute plus of just straight instrumental wasn't needed. I thought the sound was really good at 5 minutes to end the song there. 5 minutes is a long song. I thought it had a good ending point there, and they just let the instrumental go for some reason. I don't understand it, like most songs. So it did bring my rating down a little bit. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Interesting. Yeah, when I was listening to this, I was like, dude, this has to be like a statement piece. And I looked it up, and sure enough, it was.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I know I did rate it kind of low. It's just a 5 out of 10 for me. But like in context of the album, I think it's good.
I think we're going to have drastically different ratings on this album.
That's fair. I don't think like this is the same as the last album to me, where I understand fully, like it sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand fully why they are on this list.
Yeah. And I agree 100%.
These like, and I'm glad I listened to the album, and I think the album is good. And my ratings will reflect, or feel like it doesn't reflect that, but 5 isn't bad.
Yeah, you know.
5 is just like, it's okay. It's not like super good. It's not super bad. It is okay. Like if it comes on, I'm not turning it off, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I understand. That's fair. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but that moves us to track number 2, frankly, Mr. Shankly.
Yeah, dude. This was actually like, oh, kind of whiplash because this shit was insanely bouncy.
They that's one thing with this album that if you listen to it at home, uh it is a whiplash album. The
hmm
sounds are drastically different from song to song.
hmm
This one gave me a polka sound,
Yeah,
Weird Al vibe right away.
it is super bouncy, kind of upbeat ish.
Hmm.
Granted, the lyrics, however, are very much not.
Yeah.
I mean, he's literally singing about the emptiness of his soul and rotting away,
Hmm.
but it is very bum, 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 like
Yeah,
upbeat.
and that's the thing with the Smiths is you get these introspective, lonely, emotional lyrics in singing by Morrissey, and then you have this like poppy rock, indie rock sound, and
Mhm.
sometimes they don't match. But I thought it was a fun song, even with the lyrics being what they were. I enjoyed the song. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I gave it a 6 out of 10,
Fair.
which moves us on to "I Know It's Over," which again is just another change of the vibe, man.
Hmm.
This one sounds sad and lonely, just all over. Like
Yeah.
his singing, the instrumentals. It's just a very sad-ish song, right?
Hmm.
It's very nice though, and it
Oh yeah.
has a really strong bass line in the back that I liked a lot as well.
Yeah. The song to me it is my favorite song on the album, and I think it is one of like a few very complete songs on the album where there's nothing I would change about it. I think it sounds great. I can see it being played in 90s proms as like a slower jam.
Mm.
Uh I really enjoy it. I think Morrissey is extremely talented and he's on full display here. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Uh, there is a point in the song for me
Hmm.
where I feel like his voice, his vocals, and the beat are out of sync,
Yeah, that's fair.
and it doesn't happen often. It happen there's he does chorus twice in the song. It's like 4 verses and 2 choruses, and it happens during the chorus, which
Hmm.
is ironic in my opinion. And but the verses are so well done, and the outro I thought was really solid.
Yeah,
But it does go on for a little bit for me. I gave this a 6.5 out of 10.
that's fair. Like I said, I think I enjoyed this album more than you did.
Yeah, and that
Obviously, with the
happens.
scores. Yeah. I really enjoyed that track. It was just a good, like,
Yeah. I
slow jam.
hey, I'm not judging. I thought it was decent. We move on to the next song, which is Never Had No One Ever.
Hmm.
And this is keeping kind of the same. This is the first time you just don't get that whiplash. It keeps kind of the same vibe
Yeah, the
as the last song.
slow
Yeah.
sound, great vocals. And again, it has that long outro.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem to bother me as much as it did in The Queen is Dead.
See,
Um, yeah, go ahead.
I thought the outro made this song feel longer than it was. I thought
Hmm.
it's just a 4 minute song. I thought it was much longer. I thought it was almost as long as the Queen,
Yeah, it's fair.
uh, which is weird ish because I did actually really like this song.
Hmm.
I don't know what the difference between this and the last one was, but I like the sound a lot. It was pretty good.
Yes, sir.
I did notice though, did it not sound like this was cut from a different song? Like they just cut the start of a verse from a different song and just made it its own thing?
I did not catch that. No,
Okay, so
I'll have
like
to give it another
it
listen.
the beginning is so abrupt. It really does feel like and sound like it was like half of a different song and they didn't like the first half, so they just cut it
Which is
and
probably
released
possible.
the second half, right?
A lot of the instrumental parts of this album were created during sound checks on their tour. So it is very possible that like some of the sounds are from other songs that they've already performed
Mhm.
or they already made, and he kind of like because it's bound to happen if you're doing sound check. You had to play your other songs, and then you do your extra experiments. It's not hard to accidentally seep in previous instrumentals into your current ones, and that has nothing to do with production after the point, like because what you're talking about is more production side of things. But that could also be part of what happened. Is it just sounds like a previous song, and maybe they like just took a shortcut.
Yeah.
But
what
did you give it?
A 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I also gave it a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. It was just an average song on the album for me. Which moves us to track number 5, Cemetery Gates.
Yeah, which goes right back to the Whiplash.
Yeah, definitely more fast paced. It sounded to me, and I don't know if you agree, like early 2000s pop rock. Like it felt like a song that would be in like Can't Hardly Wait or Never Been Kissed, one of those like 2000s rom-coms. Sound like it would fit into that genre.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see that. Yeah. Overall, like, and yeah, I see it. I see it. And maybe that kind of justifies like me. I put it was a fast song, but and it sounded kind of familiar, and it's just all right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not great or anything. It fits that mold of like I can see Blink 182. It's one of their like if there was sellout songs in the early 80s or the mid 80s that like you sold out to be like a hit, this sounds like it would fit into that mold.
Yeah.
Like the company gave them this song because they thought it would be a hit.
Yeah.
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. I didn't like it as much as Never Had No One Ever.
Yeah.
I also realized at this point, halfway through the album, that these probably were songs that like I'm happy I listened to, probably will not listen to again. I might listen to the other Smith songs just because I do like their sound. I just don't know if they would be like a reoccurring.
Yeah, I would definitely look for their greatest hits over listening to this album. Yeah, because I really, really like their sound. I like Morrissey. I enjoy it. But I would rather just listen to their hits. What are people say are their hits at least?
Yep.
I didn't find like outside of I Know It's Over. I don't think there's another song I would add to a playlist on the album.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing.
No, it's definitely not. Which moves us on to the next song, which is Bigmouth Strikes Again.
Yeah, this one has a funky guitar. It's like fast paced.
Oh yeah, the instrumental for this one carries for sure, in my opinion. This is also their lead single.
Yeah,
off the album,
which makes sense. It keeps, has that pop sound.
Yeah, and it keeps like you just said, it keeps that upbeat vibe from Cemetery Gates, but it's not as I don't know. It's not as
I know what you're trying to say.
Holy God. The content's not as depressing. I don't know why it was so hard for me to come up with that word. That's silly.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. I just gave this a 7 out of 10. I thought it was good. I thought it was just a quick, nice song.
The guitar carried for me. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, no, the guitar, like the instrumental on this one is crazy good.
Which moves us to track number 7, The Boy with a Thorn in His Side. Again, another upbeat, fun song. They got more into the poppiness here in the last couple tracks.
In my opinion, this one sounded the most dated.
Yeah, I can see that.
But with that being said, I do see why this could be a lot of people's favorites.
I enjoyed just listening to it. I didn't think too hard.
Yep.
I just sat back and listened to the song, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was decent.
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Totally fair. Like, I think we're on the same range. 7 is my, like, for this album has just been my, like, mid go-to number because nothing's been bad. I didn't dislike anything I heard, like sound wise, quality wise. It just, there's a couple tracks that were like, yeah, let's go, and then the rest are just okay, cool.
Yeah. Next we have A Car and a Tutu.
Yeah.
It's a catchy sound. And again, it feels like one of those songs that a lot of people would be into, like that are into the Smiths. This is probably one of the songs that it's more popular. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No, and I agree. It's fast paced, which was definitely a late in the 80s type rock. People like that, especially with them giving them more poppy, going the indie rock side. Just like track 2, frankly, Mr. Shankly, I thought this had a polka vibe to it as well, and it's the like it's the doot doot doot. I can't make the sound. You had to listen to it. But polka has a very like noticeable sound to it, where like if you were to dance with it, you would just go up and down into the same pace over again, like they do in like Family Matters. Like, I don't know if I'm making any sense. If you know what I'm talking about, awesome. If not, just ignore what I just said.
Yeah, you'll never get that 30 seconds back.
But it's interesting. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Fair.
Which brings us to the penultimate song. There's a light that never goes out.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a kind of angsty-ish song.
Yeah.
It's a really good sound. And I think the chorus fits super well to the song and the instrumental that they got going on for it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were nice enough that if you forgot the title of the track in the outro, they let you know.
Yeah.
I just gave you a quick reminder a few times.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a very angsty song. Like, yeah. I was reading comments. I don't do it often for songs. I was reading comments, and a lot of people were saying they thought it was about like teen love. Mm-hmm. Some talking about teenage angst. Like, there's just a lot of potential of what it could be about. So I guess it's one of those songs that, like, however you interpret it is probably what it is for you.
100%. What did you give it?
I ended up giving it a 7 out of 10.
Which is fair. I said this earlier with my favorite song, I Know It's Over. There were some really well constructed songs on the album. This is the other song that I thought was perfectly constructed. It was a great sound. It just, everything about it I really enjoyed, and I gave it an 8 out of 10. Which moves us to the final track on the album, track number 10, Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others. Interesting thing about this song is this was created by the guitarist way before the lyrics were made. And Morrissey said he just made the lyrics for the song, but he prefers just the instrumental of Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others. My issue with the track is there was another album that did the same thing that made me stop the song and go back to the beginning because I thought something was wrong on my end. So it kind of throws me off of the song. Like the first like 10 seconds, the sound comes in and then slowly goes down and then it returns to normal level weirdly, and it does nothing, adds nothing to the song.
I don't think I noticed that.
Like, but I replayed, like I went back to the beginning to make sure it wasn't my headphones or my Spotify. It did it twice. So check it if you're listening to this album, go see if I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. But yeah, at the beginning of the song, the audio kind of goes out, like it just shrinks and then comes back in right before he starts singing.
Yeah? Well, I have a fun fact about this song.
Yeah.
It's about boobies.
Is it about boobies?
It is about breasts, yes.
Okay, then 10. No,
yeah, it's a quick end to the album. It's pretty catchy. I'm not going to lie, but yeah, the lyric content is very much nothing like anything else on here. It's about breasts, like women with big breasts.
That's good. I did not know that. Did not catch that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I was more focused on why the fucking start of the song started the way it did, that I didn't focus too much on the lyrics.
Again, I think it was just you, but it's fine. You're weird sometimes. I ended up giving it a 7 out of 10.
I also gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, it was sketchy. What did you end up giving this overall, though?
Overall, I did give the album a 7 out of 10. I think it is a great example of indie rock. I thought it was a great blend of Morrissey's lyrics with Johnny Marr's great guitaring and his great structure of songs. Like, I understand why it's ranked at 66. I didn't find anything wrong with the album. It's I think while every track's not like groundbreaking, obviously we didn't like, I only gave 2 8+s. The album's consistency and just the artistic vision of the songs, it's good. I enjoyed it.
I gave it a 6.4. No long win in this. That's it.
Okay.
It was good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad I listened to it. I understand the placing of it. As I said earlier, it's good. It's a good album, and I recommend listening to it if you're into like old rock and kind of stuff like that. It's just a one listen type deal.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I know it sounds like a really low score, but 6 isn't too bad.
Yeah. Before we get to what everybody is here to listen to, which is your shout out, some just housekeeping things. This is the last episode for about a month of the Apple Music's Top 100 Albums of All Time. We're taking a break during October because we are putting out an anthology series of horror stories, thriller stories, and just stories of that genre, the October feel. So we'll have 4 of those episodes during October, and then we'll be back to continuing our journey at 65, and we'll finish it out. So we hope you guys have been enjoying the series.
And if not, don't worry, it'll be over soon, and we can
hopefully
get back
soon.
to normal stuff. Yeah.
But like it's that time. Give the people what they want.
I might have done this before. I'm not 100% sure. But if you're trying new things, shout out to you. Again. Because honestly, like we're trying new things here with the whole music thing, and we went big. We went maybe a little too big, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
Because some of these albums, like, damn. And I don't know if you guys know, like, it's only like 3 hours out of our day. But man, sometimes that 3 hours drags. And if you have to take a break, that extends to like almost 24 hours, depending on what you're listening to. Like Burial, bro? Burial took me 2 days to listen to and write out and stuff. You know what? Shout out if you're willing to go through pain and just try new things.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. But that winds down our time. We want to thank you guys again for listening to our podcast. We appreciate it, even if you don't comment, if you don't share anything, if you're taking the time to listen to us talk about our own personal feelings on things that don't matter in the long scheme of things. We appreciate it.
For sure.
You can find us on all social media sites under Hypothetically Sound. And until next time, have a great day. Deuces.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Hypothetically Sound. We hope you enjoyed the episode. All episodes can be found at hypotheticallysound.podbean.com, as well as on Apple, Spotify, and Pandora. For full unedited video versions of the podcast, please visit us at youtube.com/hypotheticallysound.